What's going on, YouTubers? Guddang775 back with another video, and today I'm gonna talk about and give you folks my 100 plus hour review on Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, folks don't know how my reviews work. I'm gonna give my score toward the end of the video, and I'm gonna give the game a score of 1 being absolute, score between 1, which is absolute garbage, trash, and something that never should have been made, and 5 being the best thing ever since the day I was born. Okay, I'm gonna give a score between that 1 and 5. All right, and I'm gonna talk about the good first, what I liked about the game. Then I'm gonna talk about the bad, then the score. Now let's get on with the review. Okay, so quick disclaimer, I played the majority of this game on the Xbox Series S. Okay, I have an Xbox Series X, I have an Xbox Series S. I played it on both. Okay, the reason why I played a majority on the Xbox Series S is because I was on the road a lot. Okay, and I still am. I'm on the road a lot, and I take my little Xbox Series S with me wherever I go. Okay, I love that little console. I love it. I love it to death. Okay, sure, I could take the Xbox Series X, but it takes up more space and it's big and it's heavier. Okay, the Xbox Series S is smaller, lighter, fits in smaller places and whatnot. Hooks up right to the hotel TV rooms and whatnot, like that. But yeah, it's very simple. Okay, so I played it the majority on Xbox Series S, and I can tell you for a fact that it worked phenomenally on both the Series S and Series X. Now, I did try it on the Xbox One S all digital edition just to see. I played a couple hours on that, and there's a lot of popping, some of the textures not rendering, like blank faces and whatnot, and a couple crashes. And then that was just in 2 hours of gameplay. So I recommend, if you got an Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, you play it on that. Okay, you got an old Xbox One, Xbox One S, you can play it on that, but just expect glitches similar to how Fallout New Vegas was on the 360 and the PS3. Very similar. Okay, didn't stop me from enjoying the game then. I played it through. You folks remember how Fallout New Vegas was? There's kind of glitchy, there's tons of glitches and whatnot. All Bethesda games are like that, and this is no different. It feels just like a Bethesda game, but it's not Bethesda. No, but seriously, yeah, if you got a next-gen console, play it on that. You got a PC, play it on that. Okay, you can get the most out of Cyberpunk 2077. Now, the good things. Talk about the good things. What I liked about this game. Okay, the story. Story-driven narrative of this game. I love how the story has a ton of side quests around it, and those side quests actually have meaning. Okay, a lot of times when I play these big open-world games, some of the side quests, they're pretty much useless. Okay, but in this game, a lot of the side quests, okay, they intertwine into the story, and if you do all those side quests, they help you get the better ending, depending on the choices you choose, which is another thing, choice and consequences, which I love. I love choice and consequences in games. I love that each choice you make in the beginning of the game can come back and bite you in the ass toward the end of the game, and can affect your ending. Now, I've heard this game has like 5 or 6 endings, something like that. Okay, I got 2 of them. I beat this game twice. Okay, and I played through it twice with 2 different characters so far. The Nomad was my first, and the Corpo character my second, and I enjoyed both playthroughs. So Night City is a big, vast, open city. Okay, tons of NPCs walking around and whatnot. Like majority of them, you don't interact with them and whatnot. They're just NPCs. They're just there. Okay, you can bump into them and stuff. You just run. You bump into them. One of the funniest things that I came into in this game is when I was running, I bumped into an NPC. Usually they say F off and whatnot. But this NPC, when I bumped into him running at full speed, he said, "Hey, you forgot to spit on me, man." I lost it. That was funny. That was funny. I couldn't stop laughing. Like, wow, that's pretty interesting. I've never heard that before in a game. But yeah, I like the side stories, the NPCs or not. It does feel like a living city, especially on the next gen consoles like the Series S and Series X, where a lot of NPCs are on the screen. You're walking by. There's food stalls everywhere. There's shootouts everywhere. There's cops making busts, arresting people and whatnot. It's it's fantastic. Okay, and I love how the story kind of keeps on, what do you call that, intertwining with the side quest. And I love the fact that there are multiple endings. Okay, the reason why I love games like this is because the multiple endings. You can go back and replay the game and pick different choices to see the different outcomes. Hence why I love the Mass Effect games, the Dragon's Age games, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic games. Multiple endings, good and bad. Okay, a lot of games coming out nowadays. A lot of games, okay, so this is the big story games. They got one ending. They got one ending to where it's set and done. You can't change it. No, there's nothing wrong with that. If the story in the movie, the story in the game is great, there's nothing wrong with that. But I just want more for my money. Now, sure, you can replay that same story over and over again, but playing a different story through each time, I think you get more of your money's worth. And that's what I love about Cyberpunk 2077. I played it through twice already, 100 plus hours into the game, and I already got well more than my money's worth. That's $60 entry fee into this game. Actually, I did not even buy this game. It was sent to me. Mr. Kim! Woo! Mr. Kim! My brother from another mother. Thank you. But Mr. Kim got the most out of his money by sending that game to me. Because I put in the time. Okay? And I'm still playing it through. I'm still playing a third playthrough. I'm going to beat it one more time. I'm going to try and go for the secret ending. Supposedly there's a secret ending where you can do all these things at the end. I'm not going to get into that, but you folks know you already beat the game. You guys probably looked it up online already. But I've heard that there's a secret ending. I'm going to go for that ending. Okay? Because I got two endings already. One was a really good one, and one was a good one, but I felt a little empty at the end. I'm going to talk about the endings toward the end of this video, so I'll say spoilers at the end. Okay? So that way, you folks, once I leave the score, then I'm going to talk about the spoilers. So that way, you folks don't get spoiled. You guys watching this video. But yeah, story-driven narrative, big open world, and I love the gameplay. The gameplay, this game kind of reminds me of Deus Ex. Folks don't know Deus Ex or Deus Ex or whatever you call it. The first and second Deus Ex games were phenomenal. And this game is just like Deus Ex mixed in with GTA. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. Okay? I think this game could have been so much better if they had more, what do you call that? More closure on some of the side quests, especially one of them called Dream On. Now, I'm thinking that's going to come in DLC, and one of the endings, they kind of left it open. Actually, both endings they kind of left open that I played. So I'm thinking DLC is coming down the line. But for what I played, it's a phenomenal game. I think most people who are into open world games, if you folks love games like Deus Ex and GTA, and kind of mix them together, it's very similar. It's like a mix of both. Okay? If you're coming in here thinking like this game's gonna be anything like The Witcher, get that out of your head right now, because it's not The Witcher. Okay? Totally different from The Witcher. And I love the unique gameplays of how they added the cyberware, the hacking and whatnot, how you can do a breaching protocol. Now, it feels more, I like it better than the hacking and stuff that you do in Watch Dogs 2. Now, I haven't played Watch Dogs Legion yet, but I liked it better. The hacking and stuff you do in this game, I liked it better. And doing the brain dances, that's pretty cool. Okay, the brain dances, that's something different. That's doing some detective stuff in there. And the brain dances is like, whoa, you gotta do your investigation and whatnot. That's pretty trippy. I don't think any other game out there has something like that, like those brain dances. You gotta go and investigate those brain dances. One of them was pretty like, kind of like hits you in the feels, like The Hunt. The name of that side quest, that one is like, whoa, puts you right in there. You gotta solve this mystery. It's phenomenal. Okay, the different aspects of the gameplay, how they switch it up, I love it. From the combat, okay, could be a little tighter, the combat, especially the melee combat, but hey, I wish there was more melee finishes, but I still enjoyed it. Okay, I enjoyed the gunplay. The gunplay is just normal gunplay. It's like a dime a dozen. But yeah, story-driven narrative, the unique gameplay, the big open world city, the intertwining side quests, the intertwining the story. It's pretty much what I loved about the game. and the multiple endings. Okay, I love multiple ending games and choice and consequence. It's pretty much what I loved about the game. Now I'm going to talk about what I disliked about the game. Okay, it's not too much actually. Okay, people think I'm going to have a lot to say what I disliked about this game. It's not true, because there's only a couple things that kind of irk me a little bit. There's a little bit of popping here and there, but it's very minor. Very minor on the Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X. For the most part, both games look, the game on both systems look phenomenal. Okay, now it didn't look too good on the Xbox One S All Digital Edition, but that's to be expected. Okay, I kind of feel bad for the folks who are buying it thinking they can play it on the older Xbox One version, which they still can. Okay, it's gonna be glitchy, and some textures might not render properly for a few seconds. It takes a little while for them to kick in, but it'll still work. It's still played. You can still play the game. It's just at a potato setting. Now, when you're playing on an Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, there's very slight popping. Once in a while, there's glitches, okay, that I didn't care for, especially when you're fighting enemies and the enemies are standing in a T position. They're like this, and it's like, okay, you know, that's easy kills for you. It's like kind of takes you out of the immersion of the combat. But it was few and far between. Okay, it's very few. And another thing, there was one glitch that I ran into that I thought was a game-breaking glitch, but I found a way around it. Is when you go into the Aldecados camp, I was in there, okay. I bought some weapons from the gun dealer and whatnot, and for some reason, and when you hit the Aldecados camp, you can't pull out your weapons at all. Okay, it's just you're in a safe zone. Okay, the thing is, when I transport out of there, fast traveled out of there, I got to a place where there were enemies. I could not pull my weapons out. It glitched. I could not pull my weapons out. I was like, huh, because it still thought I was in the Aldecados camp. Well, to fix that, I ran away from the enemies. I went ahead and crafted a really cheap gun. You know, you can really, because you find so many common parts everywhere. You're gonna have some blueprints of cheap guns. Go to crafting in your menu, craft a cheap gun, and you're gonna be able that fixed my problem for me. Now, it might not fix problem for you, but that's what it did for me. Okay, you can also power cycle your Xbox and whatnot. That should fix it for the most part. But crafting a cheap gun worked for me. So those two glitches I didn't care for. Okay, and the third thing that I didn't care for is I wish they were more closer to the side quests. I mean, I want them to release more DLC now, but I know they're getting bombarded, especially with a lot of criticism. But that criticism doesn't seem to be doing much. They did lose $1 billion in stock, but they still sold 13 million copies, even with the returns. So I think Cyberpunk 2077 will be fine. Now, if they get sued by their investors, they'll be in trouble. I just hope the game does not come to a stall or stop because they get bombarded and they get sued into oblivion. I hope that does not happen, because this company is a great company. And I think they got more in store for Cyberpunk 2077 for folks like me who already beat the game twice. Okay, and I think this game could have been a lot better. I am gonna take a couple points away for the crappy version, the crappy job they put out for the Xbox One S version. Okay, because I did try it on Xbox, like I said, 2 hours on my Xbox One S All Digital Edition, 2 crashes. And multiple times, a lot of popping, and a lot of failure to render textures. Well, not failure to render. They did render, but they took a while to render. Like, I'd be staring an NPC in the face and be a blank space, and then a few seconds later, poof, it's back to normal. But it's still, that delayed reaction kind of brings you out of the immersion. So, like I said before, do not play it on the Xbox One, Xbox One S version. Play it on the next gen versions, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, PS5, or PC. Okay, so we come to the end of the video, alright? And I'm gonna have to give this game a score between 1 being absolute garbage and 5 being the best thing ever since the day I was born. I'm gonna give Cyberpunk 2077 a 4.5 out of 5. Now, that's a pretty high score. It would have ranked higher. It would have got a 4.6, 4.7 had it not been for the terrible Xbox One S All Digital Edition port, okay, that I tried. Okay, 2 crashes in 2 hours, plus multiple failure to render textures and whatnot. Not failure to render, delay in rendering. Okay, and the popping and whatnot. It broke me out of that immersion when I was playing the game. Okay, but other than that, the glitches on the Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X were very minor and were not game breaking at all, and did not inhibit my enjoyment of playing the game. Okay, 4.5 out of 5, Cyberpunk 2077, and that is my score. Now, for you folks wondering, spoiler! Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler part, spoiler! For you folks wondering, what endings did I get? Okay, my first ending, I played it through my Nomad. With the Nomad, I was a female character. I got with Judy, I romanced Judy, and I got the Path of Glory ending. You folks don't know what the Path of Glory ending, okay? The spoiler! Spoiler! Okay, basically, I become, what do you call that? I reach the top, the pinnacle of, what do you call that? The pinnacle of success. I storm Arasaka Tower with Rogue and that other dude, Rogue's, I forgot the guy's name. Jeez, I forgot his name. I storm Arasaka Tower. Rogue gets killed. I kind of like, no, Rogue! But after the ending, I become the proprietor of the afterlife. I take over Rogue's spot. I'm the top person in Night City, and I'm doing one more job, and it leaves you off in space where you're about to storm the space casino all by yourself. You're about to solo this casino, okay? And basically your time is ticking. Basically you did not fix your problem. You're still dying. So that's why you're going on this big suicide mission to see if you survive, and they cut it off right there. Okay, my second ending. Alright, I was the corporal, and I went the Pan Am route. I went with the Aldecados, which was by far my favorite ending. I went with the Aldecados. I stormed Arasaka Tower. Okay, with the Aldecados. A few of my boys died. Bobby, and you got Tommy. Was it Tommy and Bobby? I know Bob was one of them. And Tommy. And then Saul. Saul gets killed by Atom Smasher in that battle at the end. And after you get good to Mukoshi, you still find out that you're dying. You still got 6 months to live, maybe more, okay? You gotta figure it out, but at least you're still alive. At the end, you head off into desert with Pan Am and the rest of the Aldecados heading to Arizona, and they're optimistic about finding a cure to what ails V. So that by far was my favorite ending, and I hope to God they bring out some DLC so we can get some closure. I want to save V. I want V to live out the rest of his life with Pan Am in the Arizona desert with the Aldecados, or maybe a return to Night City. Basically, they find out, oh, Arasaka has found some type of cure. Let's go storm them again, or find out if they get into battles with other big corporations like Militech or Kang Tao or whatnot, something like that. Okay. So, yeah, that's the little spoiler part I want to talk about. Those are the two endings I got. What do you folks? You folks beat the game already? Let me know what endings you got down below. Okay, it's a trip. This game is a trip. I love it. 4.5 out of 5. It's Guddang 775. Hope you folks like this video. Go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel for more videos every few days. If you didn't like this video, hit that dislike button and let me know in the comments down below. I do appreciate the criticisms. Guddang 775. Just a my boy in Texas, aka Sully. Out.